hello to my to Facebook and Blake Media listeners. This is Dr. Blake with Blake Media, where we're helping you get your point across. And want to welcome you to today's broadcast and let you know that hey, got a new background here. Thought it'd be a little more peaceful to have the lake background, lake setting. I don't know. I don't really fish, but it's good settling background is the sea and have it kind of get the setting set. Have a little music playing in the background. I kind of sometimes likes to have a little sound in the background. But today's class is have an introduction of a friend that I call Mr. Benjamin. We're going to have a video that's going to introduce him to us here shortly. But first of all, I want to continue our study on my text, and we're going to finish up on the chapter that talks about what I read about, and give us some more insights on the chapter in the book that deals with the things that I read about my research and what gave us more insight on what helped understand more of what was in my study. So let's go ahead and get to the part that let's see here, there, and see, share. Let's get the ball rolling here. So okay, we'll cover there and all right. So as we get it going, get started here. All right, so this is the overall philosophy to what we have. And as we mentioned before, actionable knowledge, that's where we start. That's the information that comes in and we learn. And then what we want the knowledge to do is change the behaviors that we have as it relates to finance and religion, finance and what have you. And then inside the middle is the skill sets that we take that skill set and we learn, and it changes our behavior. So the skill set that's in the middle is the ethical economic stewardship, money-based investing, borrowing, and protecting. And those skill sets we'll learn in the coming future as well. And within that skill set, we have that we learn on either we change it on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, semi-annually, or annual basis. It's been depending on your knowledge you have already and the knowledge that you learn in the future. And then we have the behaviors, and these behaviors we use within the skill set, each individual skill set, to make sure we're progressing or we are adjusting those skill sets as we go along. So those behaviors that we look at are economic behaviors. We use them in stages. So we're making sure we have the right economic behaviors. If those economic behaviors are having the right financial effect, if there's any monetary flaw to those first two questions. So, and if basically is the money piling up appropriately if we're taking the right actions. And then the fourth point to that is that if there's anything unrealistic in those first three behavioral steps. And then if we're looking at it, can we recreate those stages in individual groups or larger organization as a whole? So it's not just you doing it, it's you also being able to recreate it and sustainable. Can you recreate what you have done, what you are doing in a larger set outside of where you've created? So you look back at what you have actually done, you have actually maintained would you be able to recreate it, not only in itself, but in others? So can you recreate what you've created? Not what you created and it's gone, but what you have actually created yourself and recreated in others. And so if you have 1 million, can you recreate 1 million in yourself and recreate millions in others? If you don't have 1 million, it's not say, if you don't have it, you can't recreate that. You wouldn't, you can't recreate that. All right, so let's keep going here. So we talked about these are 5 major lessons that you learn within my text, within my book, is what went down, how the economy and everything was down in 2000, but we kind of going through the same thing, but it depends on where you are. You can say the market is not doing well, but when you're looking at it from an investor standpoint, you're still good to go. And like I'm looking at the market, I'm like, I'm good. My investments are like doing good thing. It depends on if you were taking advantage of the market, and if you were invested in 2009 and you're looking at now, you're like, hey, I'm doing good. Because go back to 2009, where was the stock market in 2009? It was like down to 6,300. It bottomed out in 2009, 6,300. Where's it? That was the Dow Jones, because the Dow Jones is it's a thermometer. It measures the temperature of the economy. It was I'll just say it was 8,000 in 2009. That's the Dow Jones. And that's only one measure. There's 29 other measures outside the Dow Jones. So the Dow Jones was at 8,000 in 2009. Where's the Dow Jones today? And let me see, let me go and make sure I'm kind of accurate with that. Stock market, Dow Jones. It was 8,000 in 2009, and it's 2020. It's 28,000. So is the market up or down? Definitely up. So it's just a measure, but if you had money in 2009, you're saying, hey, I'm good to go. So it's always relative to where you are. And if you look at the Dow Jones back in I think it was 1985, it was at 1,200. So you got to plant your seed, give us the time, reap the harvest. You don't make money in a given day, given month, given year. It's over time. And it's it in a nutshell. That's it in a nutshell. You know, if you're trying to become a millionaire overnight, it's not gonna, doesn't take time. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, seed time, harvest, principle that's in the Bible. But you have to be able to step back and look at how things are done over time. Okay, so one of the things as I read in my text, as stated in my text, is that so a religious foundation in economic matters increase the likelihood of where organizations can get expert knowledge and provide for their members. So within the Bible, the Bible gives us information that that's from the Word of God, and that Word of God gives us the inspiration, and knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from God to do what we need to do. Now, there are a lot of things in a believer's world that God gives us. Also, there's things in that's in the I would say, well, that's not in the Christian world that has been created, but everything. And you look at the book of John, it says all things that were created before and in the past were all created by God. So even though people may say it's from the world, it was created, and we have to understand that creation, that what it was created as, not so to speak in the Christian world. It was still created, and it was created with God's intent there. So we have to understand what that is and go grab that information and be able to use it. And sometimes things that were used, it may not have been used properly, but it was used. So we have to get it, and it's not used properly. It was not used improperly because of how can I put it? It's people's intent to abuse. If you don't know the purpose of something, abuse is inevitable. And I think Miles Monroe had said that. So it's people that abuse it. It's not the thing that's abused, it's people that abuse it. So you know, if you know the purpose of a thing, you know how to use it. Like I think you know, like the coca plant is really used for. I mean, you can use it for good things, but you know, people made it into a drug, and you know, people abused it. I've never in my life used an illegal drug at all. Never touched it, never smelled it. I did not ever use an illegal drug at all. So I really don't. I really can't talk about them. You know. Now I grew up in the inner city of Baltimore. I knew where they were sold. I seen the cats on the corner selling the drugs, but I was never involved in it. I was like, nope, I'm not going down that road. But I knew where it was at if I wanted to, could to. But if you knew my mother, Loretta Blake, that was not happening for me because that girl, she was crazy. Wouldn't do it. I didn't want to hear my mom. You know, but I knew that expert knowledge that drugs was not the right way to go, and I didn't go down that route. So same thing, you know, if you know the expert knowledge, then you know I can share that with my members, being in my other family is my children. And I said, no, don't go down that route. And I knew that the Bible doesn't want me to go down that route. So in saying that, there's a need for the spirit, and you know, and the religious text to connect with the successful accumulation of wealth, and that becomes an utmost concern. Because sometimes there's words in the Bible that may say things that may not be in the physical world, like the word brain. Brain is not in the word, but we know brain means mind. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean mind, but it's referred to like that in mind. But the word money is in the Bible, and we know. I mean, but see, when we say money, what does money refer to? What does it mean? When you think about it, you know what? I gotta grab a prop so I can share it with you. But what does money mean to you? Think about that. Sorry for the noise. But what does money mean to you? Money can mean different things to different people. Money is just an exchange, really. In the United States, money is a dollar. In Europe, money is the euro. in England, money is the pound. These are I've shared this before, but these are examples of what money is to some folks. These are different brands of money, and each society determines what money is. So these are different brands. To my right over here, you have a Saudi. No, this is the Iraqi dollar and a British pound. And then to my left over here, we have the this is a Saudi, and then there's the euro, and then there's down at the bottom there. That's old school for some of us. That is an old-fashioned food stamp. So these are forms of money, but it's what society says what money is. But money is basically exchange that is used to trade for gifts. So it's not a physical aspect of money that makes the biggest difference. It's just being able to accumulate wealth, because that changes forms all day long. Later in the lesson, we're going to give you a scripture that talks about a physical object, and that physical object gets old, worn, and torn and needs to be replaced. And so it's not the physical objects that we're looking at. We want to look at recreating the wealth process, recreating the accumulation of wealth, recreating what is it? The generational wealth. You want to be able to recreate that generational wealth process. So it's not just you making money, because you're not necessarily making money. You want to recreate the wealth process. So it's not just you that's having that wealth. You want to be able to make sure, and what the Bible says, you want to make sure that you have wealth for you and your children's children, because just having it in one generation is not enough. You want to be able to have that generational wealth. So not only your children have it, and that's what the wealthy do. The wealthy does. They have enough wealth that the next generation, the following, have enough resources that it goes down from one family group to the next one, and then it just carries on. And I think that's missing in a lot of our families. And sometimes what happens is we create a generation where it's going from one family group to the next, where it's just poverty. And one family's on welfare, then the next generation is on welfare, then the following generation is on welfare, and sometimes there's a lack of knowledge, lack of information, lack of structure, and it's there's a missing there, and it could be also motivation. I mean, there's a lot of different factors that's inside of it. But being successful to accumulate that wealth, one person has to start it and then go from that point on. And it's one person can make that change and make that difference, and then that person needs to be able to share it to the other. Now, the other side of it, they have that individual that wants to make the change, has to be willing to make that change, and then make it a very important part of sharing with their children and their children's children, so they would understand as well. I found that by being able to make that change myself, because growing up we were on welfare for a little while, and Baltimore was a rough city. I mean, I didn't think it was rough while I was there. I just thought it was life. I was like, I'm just living. You get robbed. Then you fight back when you get robbed. You fight when you go to school, fight when you get out of school. I just thought that was life. And then when I joined the military, and I realized that it was like, oh wow, this is not too bad. I didn't know it was like this. I thought I was like, wow, this is different. Then I go overseas, and I lived over in another country, and then I see how that country lived, and I was like, man, I think I want to go back to the United States, because you realize how different the other country was, and I was like, I think I want to go back, So, but it's because you have that exposure to another way of living in another country, you still want to go back to the United States, because it wasn't. You look back at it and said, okay, no, it wasn't that tough. You got to go back. But it wasn't until I got that exposure to another way of being. It wasn't until I left where I was at before I got the understanding. Sometimes when you're in one place, you think it's all bad, but you do have to get out and get exposure to another way of seeing things, and not let your way in one place dictate your thinking all over. And sometimes money does that to you. If you let your money tell you where you want to be, who you're going to be, and what you're going to be, that keeps you trapped. And so, are you telling your money what to do, or is your money telling you what to do? So, in this next little video here, this is a funny little thing. I like to keep things light, even though money sometimes can, when you're talking about money and finance, it can be such a serious subject, and you can kind of clam up a little bit and not really want to let go because it's so serious. But with me, I'm a kind of a lighthearted guy. I kind of somewhat joke sometimes, but I like to keep it lighthearted. I'm just nuts that way. But I got this next video, and this is with my introduction to this guy named Mr. Benjamin. So Mr. Benjamin is going to give us a kind of a lighthearted way to look at how money. So is your money telling you what to do, or are you telling your money what to do? So next we're going to introduce Mr. Benjamin, and you tell me what you think about Mr. Benjamin after this, okay? Can't be messing with my songs, my music. Yeah, it just can't have that. I mean, that's just not coming of a Blake here, and not sharing what I want to have shared. That's not supposed to happen. I can't have that.
What can I tell you about Benjamin? Our friendship started out great. When I was a kid, I only saw him every now and then, but as I got older, he came around more.
How dare them not want to play my video? Now, the 600 million times that I shared this thing, and now this one time it doesn't want to work. So I'm going to have to get on this system here and play it. Upsetting.
What can I tell you about Benjamin? Our friendship started out great. When I was a kid, I only saw him every now and then, but as I got older.
Okay, this is my last shot. If this doesn't work this way, I am going to be a little bit sad of myself. Last shot, people. Last shot, folks. I built this up, and this is not working the way I thought it would work. I am not sure why this is not doing what it could or should. And technical difficulties are just that. Technical difficulties. It's all working all appropriately, and then for some reason it doesn't want to work appropriately. And that's when you want to take and drop kick your computer and put it out the pasture. If this doesn't work this time, I'm just going to be thoroughly upset, you know. Sometimes it's that way. You just want to be upset and just tell the computer basically, hey, all right, I'm going to have to, next time you want to work with me, I'm not going to want to work with you. And if the computer gets to be fussy, then just tell them. I mean, I'm going to have to just narrate the whole thing at this point. And that occurs, then the computer can okay, here we go. Let's say this is going to be it. All right, this may be it. This might be it. This might be it.
What can I tell you about Benjamin? Our friendship started out great. When I was a kid, I only saw him every now and then, but as I got older, he came around more and more. And that was great too. Until he started to sort of take over.
Yo, man, get up, man. It's time to go to work, man. What you doing in the bed? Get up, lazy bones. Go. Hey, I don't grow on trees. Come on now. Time to earn me up some homies, baby.
None of us can live without him. But for me, things really got out of control.
Toastios? Man, you bought generic? We are not Toastio kind of people. What if the neighbors see this in your trash? We are Cheerio folk, Fruity Pebbles, Frankenberry, Pop-Tart folk, man.
When he took over, nothing was ever good enough.
Why didn't we get the movie package? Why didn't we get the movie package? Would it have been too much fun? Too majestically awesome to have a universe of entertainment at our fingertips? Fingertips, baby.
Almost every piece of mail I got was for him.
Hello, little babies. Pre-approved just how I like you. Ooh, Circuit City. I can get lost in here.
It's like my whole life was about serving him.
You missed a spot. Oops.
I began to worry about him all day.
Yeah, man, I know you at work and everything, but some guy from collections, he keep calling here. I tell him I only speak pesos, though. No comprendo repo, senor? Yes, groceries.
And all night.
Yes, I'd like to order the Turbo Floss 9000 Rapid Gum Care System. And by any chance, do y'all have any of those bedazzlers? Yeah, that was bomb, let me tell you.
I had to do something. I had to put him in his place.
Lord, man, where you been? I called you like about 50 times. Who's this guy? This better be the guy that's supposed to be putting in my jacuzzi.
This is Jim. He's a financial counselor. It wasn't pretty, but Jim helped me get Benjamin under control.
Get in the savings chair.
Man, I ain't getting in no chair.
Be firm. Get in the savings chair.
You know who I think I am?
Hit him with the budget.
Man, that ain't doing nothing. Oh, hey, man, okay, this chair right here, I'm getting in it, man, I'm getting in it. All you have to do is stop, man. You have to say that, man.
It really works.
Now, things are different around here.
Hey, stop doing bills, man. What are you doing? Come on, man. Oh, my head. Woe is me. It's feeling kind of faint. I need a cash advance, man. Come on.
Benjamin is working for me.
And remember, no TV until you earn some interest.
I even have him working for the church.
Is my 10% up yet?
Not yet!
Show me the me!
Okay. Okay, excellent. All right, so is are you working for Benjamin, or is Benjamin working for you? That's a big question there. So is your dollar working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, or are you working for your dollars? Yeah, because your money works for you. That money doesn't take a break. It doesn't take a sick leave. It doesn't have to take a vacation, because money can work for you more than you can work for it. So you want to have, at least some of your money, a part of your money out doing its thing, where it doesn't have to take a break. You can be sitting there watching television and your money's still doing its thing, and there are ways for it to do it. Sometimes you can, your business can do that too, but we've seen now with an example of where the way, like with the economy happened, business can stop and we have no control over it. Now, when the market, stopped along with it, what that basically means it's a sale, because the economy goes down and you can buy it. When it goes down, it means a sale, like a shoe sale. Shoes go on sale, ladies. And then, that's your favorite shoes is $50, and when it goes on sale on down and say it's $5 in 4 different colors, what do? You will buy them shoes at $5 in those 4 different colors, because the price. And then you bought them shoes now and they're $50, but at $5. Now you got those. The value of those shoes is still going to go back up again. Now you got all the shoes, and they like, wow, you got 4 of these. I don't even know a good brand. I'm not into shoes like that, but then you got 5 pair of Louis Vuittons, and you only bought them at, $5, and they don't know you bought them at $5. You just know you got them. It's wow, you know. So you got a better value. I can use Teslas, but I don't think you'll ever buy a Tesla like this. You got a Tesla? What is the sports one? Well, let's see the Model S. You bought the Model S at 20,000, brand new one. Probably not, but you got them on sale. So the Tesla stock. The Tesla stock when it first, well, not when it first when I bought a Tesla stock, they were like $173. $170, and what are they now? 120 with a 2100. So you want to be in a position when they're that way. So, all right. So here, this piece of information here. This came from one of my texts that I read, and it talked about cognitive drivers and suboptimal financial decisions. And this text was based in 2008, 2009. But what I liked about it is it talked about an example about the national savings rate in the United States, and it became negative because of the consumer debt that was out there, and this consumer debt was challenging even to the financial well-being of those that even knew about saving and investing, but it even challenged those that was the financial elite. So even though those that knew a lot, still found themselves being challenged in that type of in this environment. So it's paramount to have that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You can get caught in it, and it's the actions and inactions that cause us to get caught up, and just have to be mindful of it and be aware of what's available and what you can take advantage of and not take advantage of. So you have to be mindful what's of the human behaviors, the characteristics which represent the minds and actions of economic success. The minds and actions of economic success. And you can see some of the things that's playing out now with the coronavirus, and we're seeing people want to act like it's normal when it's not. They want to go back to doing what we did before, but we really can't. But they're doing it anyway, but we're still seeing people get sick. But you have to be mindful. You just got to be mindful of it. People are going to do what they want to do, but the result of that is you're going to still have folks go to the hospital and still have sickness, injury, illness, disease. But you have to be mindful of that behavior and the actions and the influence of the economic environment on it. You have to be mindful of that. And understand that based on the readings, the objectives of the organizations out there, they're looking at the social, environmental, and the economic concerns collectively. And when I say the social concerns, when you look at that now, a lot of organizations are really looking at what's impacting their organization socially. And more so now than ever before, with all of the different things that are affecting the African American community, with the Black Lives Matter. Some people may not want to adhere to or acknowledge or recognize what's happening within the Black Lives Matters social event, but organizations are. If you look at NBA, Major League Baseball, and the NFL, they all took part in that socialized event where they stopped play cancel training, and they didn't take, they didn't, and they participated in not having any activities on particular days to acknowledge and to take their part in standing against, different police brutality and standing up for Black Lives Matter. So those organizations took part in the social and environmental concerns. And then another thing in Arizona with Hacienda, that company stepped forward and said they're going to pay $11 million in retribution because they knew the president and the other, I think the accountant of that company had also were taking money from the company as well as, outside of the fact that they were having issues with the organization as a whole, and they said it was the right thing for that company to do. So they were dealing with social issues with that company within Arizona as well. So companies are looking at social issues facing their organizations, and they're stepping forward and paying heed to those social events. So a lot of companies now, they're looking at the social environment in their facing their organizations, and they're stepping forward and they're stepping forward and making sure they're paying attention to what's going on and how these social events are affecting their organization and affecting the people within their organization. So from an economic standpoint, they want to make sure that those issues don't affect their bottom line in their organizations. So in doing that, we as consumers see that, and we see what they're doing and how it's influenced their organization, and it also puts into play whether or not we will support or not support the organization that exercises their belief in social concerns. So that's also a part of understanding the influence of financial literacy as well, and how we're going to respond or not respond to a company. So with that, the mindset, this is a mindset that can change your future. And these different dynamics you understand will help you also formulate your personal financial attitudes, interests, and values as you relate to your financial future. So your mindset, you start to focus, your mindset, you start to understand, your mindset, you start to put forward and formulating your financial future and getting your financial understanding in order as well. So remember, this is the model that's created, that's outlined in my book. And these are some of the thoughts that went through my mind as I was formulating my text here. So here's the actionable financial knowledge. It's the information, the knowledge, and wisdom that you gain. And these are the behaviors that transfers out. There's a transformation that takes place. These are the skills within the model. Economic stewardship, and remember that one is that's the first step. You got to understand the resource that you get are gifts from God. God gives you those, and we are just the stewards that we manage those resources that God gives us. So there's the stewardship, money basics, investing, borrowing, protecting, and we start that out. We're doing it on monthly. We can do it monthly, quarterly, semi-annual basis, or annual basis, and there's a cycle that we continue, and the cycle we do it within that cycle, we need to correct or detect errors in our thinking. And then from there, we move on. Well, not there, but within that cycle, we have the behavior that we look at, and we take these behaviors within each stage of the cycle. And the behaviors we look at, are we taking the right economic actions? Are those actions having the right financial impact? Meaning, is the money piling up, or is making sense financially? Then we look at the third stage, is there's any monetary flaw in stages 1 and 2? Is there any flaw to those first two questions that we ask within ourselves? And then fourth, unrealistic, is there anything unrealistic we ask within ourselves in steps 1, 2, and 3? And then the last one is recreation. Can we recreate what we've done in those 4 stages in each one of those cycles and recreate it within ourselves, in a unit or within a larger scale itself. Can you recreate what you've done? Recreate it. Would you recreate what you've done within a larger scale? And can what you recreated, can you recreate, look at what's your resources, what you've created yourself, recreated in others? Think about it. Your mindset, recreate it. Not just your mindset, your resources, what you have, what you've done, what you've actually done, do have, what you have. That's another class too in itself. You, the individual, what God has given to you, what God has shown you, what God has brought you through. Okay, this has been Dr. Joe Blake with Joseph Building Financial Literacy. Next week, we're going to have a guest on. Her name is Violeta Capusta, and she's going to share about American Dream Lives. And so this has been Dr. Blake. Oh, you can go to my website, blakemediallc.com, get more information about Blake Media. You can also purchase my book on my website as well. When you order it from my website, you can get a personal signature. I'll sign my book and send it to you. You can also get it from Amazon.com. You get it from Amazon, I won't be able to sign the book. But you purchase from my website, I'll sign the book and be able to send it to you. And get that personal signature to get it from my website. And yeah, you can also send me a message on my website as well if you have any questions, thoughts, comments about the show as well. Outside of that, I'll see everyone next week, and hope you have a great Labor Day weekend. Goodbye, everyone.